in 2011.
Our combat is already very all over the map. You notice when you were playing, like, people fly through the air, and people are jumping up with jetpacks and flying around, and so everything is a lot less static than it might have been in previous raids. We don't want to just have something be the sit in place and try to do it, or the basic puzzle fight, so we've got some pretty cool surprises in store. People can, of course, indulge in group play at the lower levels, but for multiple group play and a structured environment, we're keeping that to endgame right now. Raid groups, however, can actually get formed much earlier than that, and in fact, one of the things that we're going to be showing off really soon is the world bosses, which are basically guys out in the public space who are going to need multiple parties to take them down. So that's a place that you can experiment with raid groups, form them up, and just go fight one dude, just to really kind of get the feel of it. We scrapped the entire GUI. We made entire GUI from scratch. Why? People hated it. Took all the feedback, took everything the fans said, everything the players said, testers especially, tried to incorporate that, put out a brand new GUI. That's testing really well. Great, we can move on, polish something else. Things like crew skills, especially combat, itemization, a lot of the real systems-driven things, you can only really get down once you've had hundreds and thousands of people pounding on it and trying to really exploit it. It's your players who are going to show you where you're broken faster than anyone. We wanted 16 classes to try to balance the combat, but we weren't going to write more than 8 because it's already way too big. So each class, once they hit their capital world, can split into one of 2 advanced classes, and they're pretty separate. So for instance, for the Imperial Agent, before this, you've got to experiment with your cover class, with your sniper rifle, but also with running up with an electro blade and shanking people, or just shooting them point blank with sort of using your rifle more like a sawed-off shotgun. So you can decide, do I want to be a sniper, or do I want to be a specialist? We've added some really cool stuff lately. In the last version that people got to see, we had holocalls for the first time. So if you're not even there, you could be on the other side of the town, and when somebody starts a conversation and says, hey, do you want to holocall in? You show up as a blue guy in the middle of the conversation. There are some things you can't do. You can't shoot somebody while you're a hologram. But otherwise, you get to go ahead and participate in the conversation. The number one thing we get from testers is this changed the way I thought about an MMO. And a lot of people have told us that after their testing, even though, there's a lot of problems in the game right now, it's early, it's testing, it'll crash, things will go wrong, they try to go back and play their other MMOs, and it feels lacking. I love when people say, I didn't think I wanted story, I told myself I wasn't going to pay attention to it, and now I know all the details about the story for my class. That excites me. Star Wars: The Old Republic is scheduled for a 2011 release.